Hello, everybody. My name is Don Shanahan. I'm coming to you from Chicago, Illinois, where for some reason it is 40-something degrees in May. Happy summer. It's the summer blockbuster season, and my website is everymovehadsalesson.com. I write movie reviews from a teacher's point of view, where I give life lessons of which you can learn from every movie, from the serious to the farcical. Today, on this chilly May evening, we have the big-time summer blockbuster remake of Godzilla. Let me get into this movie next and tell you more about it. Okay, folks, let's talk about it right here, right now. The next big summer blockbuster hitting in theaters this weekend, as in yesterday and tonight, is Godzilla. Most of us of recent memory are all kind of still hung up on the awful taste in our mouth from the 1998 Roland Emmerich, Dean Devlin, big bomb financial flop version with Matthew Broderick and Hank Azaria. This is Gareth Edwards and Warner Brothers taking their shot at the old king of all monsters, and it's a pretty good flick. What I mean by pretty good flick is that it is a vast improvement on what has been done before. To me, Godzilla has always been something incredibly cheesy and campy, and it has its place, as that kind of campy, easy entertainment. But it's nice to see a movie take a very, very serious attempt. I'm not going to give you a plot summary here. I never kind of give plot summaries in these movie classrooms because you guys can look that up. There's always trailers. But you got Bryan Cranston, you have Aaron Taylor Johnson, you have Elizabeth Olsen, and kind of a family cast of that maintains kind of the point of view of watching this huge disaster unfold. Gareth Edwards kind of leaves everything kind of in the background. The movie takes its dear sweet time to get to the showdown that you all are hoping for, that you see in the trailers. It literally takes a good hour to get action going in a 2-hour movie. For some people, that's a little slow. For some people, that's a nice little piece of plot development and character development that you normally don't see in a popcorn flick. But I can't emphasize enough how much this movie goes for the serious angle. There is not one hint of camp or humor in this whole flick. I'm trying to think of a time I even smiled. It really wants to center itself on menace and on build up, and for getting you towards the climax you're really hoping for, which is a big old monster fight. All right. That said, I thought Godzilla was definitely better than average. It's a good summer blockbuster. It didn't blow my socks off. When I think of summer blockbusters, I think of movies that, if you're gonna go to that next level and be a classic, you gotta have a little bit more of a punch in the gut of heart, or more of a build-up of wow and excitement. I'm not saying you have to be a cartoon show like Pacific Rim last summer, but to me, I think of stuff like Independence Day. I think of a movie that moves you, that pumps you up, and gets you going while still having your jaw drop with the good things they show. Godzilla's got the jaw drop, for sure. This is a big-time scale and a good movie for that. But I think it lacks, even though it tries, that punch in the gut that becomes really like that. Those characters you root for, the characters you want to see through. Aaron Taylor Johnson's a really boring actor. Bryan Cranston is not around for very long than you might think from all the ads. Ken Watanabe and most of the other actors are stuck kind of just staring with agape faces, looking at a green screen that turns into a monster in post-production. So I don't know if it's got that extra punch to be a box office classic for when it comes to summer blockbusters. So for me, this movie gets a 3 out of 5. Let me kind of bring you back here for the lessons, because that's my specialty. Alright, as usual, bear with me here on this part. This is where the penmanship definitely goes to hell. Alright, lesson 1. The easiest way for this movie to go is, because they took this a serious route and family point of view, it's about families living through disaster is one way we can go with this. Let me kind of finish writing this and tell you some more. The idea with families living through disaster is that whole element of, you got a pair of fathers here between Bryan Cranston and Aaron Taylor Johnson who, when it's all said and done through a disaster, realize that the number one thing they want to protect or go back to or maintain is family. They want their kids, they want their wives, they want their spouses. It's definitely the easiest kind of personal note this movie takes, while trying to build up to be a monster movie. Because that point of view is centered around families, that's kind of what you get. Elizabeth Olsen plays a nurse. Aaron Taylor Johnson plays her husband and a soldier. Bryan Cranston kind of plays the guy who was there when all of this started. So you have connections to what's going on, and they have reasons to watch what they watch in the movie, or at least to witness what they witness. But it's more than anything a survival situation where they want to live through the disaster and get together and keep their family going. That's definitely where Lesson 1 is coming from. As for Lesson 2, I finally get to dive into a fun one that definitely goes the farcical route of where I do this with the website. Let me explain here quick. For some reason, movie monsters, and I don't care what movie it is, no matter their size, let me get the writing going here. This is a long one, so bear with me. No matter their size, can somehow sneak up on anything or anyone. Let me explain where this is going. Call this being nitpicky, call this being a cliche that for some reason always shows up, but I just don't get it, and I had to laugh about it for this movie lesson. One reason is there's not a lot going on here where I can give you a lesson where that doesn't spoil something going on in the movie, but I don't get it. We've seen movies where you can see Jaws coming with a fin. You can hear King Kong coming with the noise. The T-Rexes of Jurassic Park shake the ground, and for goodness sakes, we have skyscraper-sized ancient reptiles in Godzilla. But for some reason, when we first introduce them, everything shakes and moves. Then the next scene over, you have this situation where everyone's around and oblivious to the fact that there's a giant monster behind them, and for some reason, he becomes the sneakiest thing in the world. For my goodness sake, the guy shakes the ground and you can't hear him. I have an infant daughter. If I walk on a hardwood floor and even breathe wrong, the girl wakes up. How trained soldiers with all their ears and receptors up that just don't catch a gigantic, enormous killing machine behind them, I just don't get it. It's a dumb movie cliche. It's something I had to pick on, but I had fun with it. Alright, let me get the jokes out of the way, and a weak joke at that. More of a nitpicky complaint. I'm not trying to be the comic book salesman from The Simpsons, and definitely skewer and pick apart movies, but it bugs me. That's why I made Lesson 2. For Lesson 3, I gotta take a quote from the movie, so let me bring the quotes here and slow it down here. There's not, like I said, they're going the serious route here, so there's not too much speechifying. There's not a President Whitmore / President Lone Star moment where something is a good quote that gets us all riled up and going, or becomes this internal theme that shows through. But I tell you what, Ken Watanabe gets off one really good line, and it's called, he leads into it like this: the arrogance of man is thinking, let me finish the quote for you, is thinking nature is in our control. That's kind of his little trailer line. I mean, it can almost, for goodness sakes, it might as well be, with great power comes great responsibility, and Spider-Man shows up. This quote is followed up with the ending of, and not the other way around. So in full piece here, it's the arrogance of man is thinking nature is in our control, and not the other way around. This scientist believes in kind of the lore of Godzilla in this movie, even though they're kind of playing it straight and playing it serious and campy, is that Godzilla is a necessary force that's here to kind of emerge and periodically correct the imbalance of the world, whether it's meant to be life or death. When these other kind of creatures show up, he's the great equalizer. He's the one that wipes the slate clean because of the destructive power of what he is. So the idea here is that you got that hubris of man going on, where of course you have the trigger happy soldiers and the worried government thinking of safety, and how they're going to try to make a plan to stop these monsters and stop Godzilla. Of course, it's a plan that's not going to work, that nature has to take its course because this big boy can't be stopped. And Ken Watanabe, the scientist he plays, is right. He drops that kind of idea with this quote to kind of take it further than the movie. It's true. Godzilla, even though it's a very huge monster movie version, it's still kind of the embodiment of being a predator, and the idea that we as humans are, despite all of our tools and all of our abilities, we are still mortal. We are still small. We are still weak in comparison to nature as a whole. Look at natural disasters, even the ones that aren't made of monsters, earthquakes, tornadoes. We are definitely all susceptible to nature around us. Heck, we wear clothes on 40-degree May days. We're wimps. Don't think we are. We think we're at the top of the food chain, but every now and then nature comes around and reminds us that we are still little. And I think that's where Ken Watanabe was going. The idea of Godzilla being a symbol for that is kind of the most lofty thing you're going to get out of this. Once again, the movie is kind of a 3 out of 5 for me. It's very good, way better than the 1998 one. I'll even call it better than the most recent Spider-Man movie by a landslide, even though I gave both 3. It's not the must-see movie I thought it was going to be. It definitely twisted my arm from the trailers. I didn't have much faith in it, but I was glad I saw it. I think it's something folks can definitely catch on the big screen. I don't think it's a must like in 3D or to spend your money to go on IMAX. I mean, it is big, bold, and beautiful, but it can wait. It'd be a fun, good matinee sometime. I don't think it has to be a gotta see it to be able to participate in the water cooler kind of movie. I hope you enjoyed my review, and let me close it out for you. Alright, in closing, as always, you can find all of my work, reviews, editorials, or otherwise at Every Movie Has a Lesson.com. I'm hoping to catch a few more movies as we go forward here. Godzilla was kind of the big hitter this weekend. I'm hoping to sneak in some video-on-demand movies soon, so maybe we'll get some smaller titles in here. But at the same time, we're getting definitely into the summer season. I think X-Men is the next one on the calendar, and I hope to see you there. As usual, I hate popcorn, so you eat it, and I don't want anything to do with it. Take care. See you next time.